Scaling your ROAS quickly with Google Ads to levels like these, where you're at a 14x ROAS doing $500,000 every month, or at a 10x ROAS doing $1.4 billion per month in revenue, or any of these ROAS values right here, is entirely possible when it comes to Google Ads. And in this video, I'm going to show you 3 separate things which you implement right now can help you achieve exactly in these numbers and more. And trust me when I say this, the beauty about these 3 things is regardless of the industry or niche your brand is in, you can almost immediately apply these tactics and see a good ROAS lift in the next upcoming days. But with that, the first thing you must absolutely do in order to even consider increase your ROAS to any significant level is to go in and optimize the customer lifecycle optimization settings section. Now, this settings section is a completely brand new section which Google just released with its new updates, its new core updates. But if you go on over on the left-hand menu, go to goals, and within goals under conversions, go ahead and click summary. You'll be able to come across this new section at the very top. This is titled Customer Lifecycle Optimization. And if you don't see this section just yet within your Google Ads account, don't worry, you'll probably see it within the next upcoming days or weeks, because this is a brand new section which Google has recently introduced. And this section actually completely blew my mind with the amount of optimizations you now have the ability to do. If we take a closer look at this, for example, open it up, we can see, first of all, there's a variety of different settings you can play around with to tell Google exactly how to treat your new customer. So for instance, at the very top is the new customer section. Second section is called new customers high value. Third one is settings for customer retention. And then the first one is lapsed customers, both regular as well as high value. So now look a bit deeper into the new customer section. We can see the first setting here is that we can add an incremental conversion value for new customers. This is not something that's brand new. You could have been able to do this directly within the campaign settings for each individual campaign itself. But if we look at the second setting right here, it now says we can add audience segments of current customers to help Google and its algorithm identify new customers. So it tells you what kind of customer audience list it's expecting. It's expecting a list with 1 or more segments with at least 1,000 active members in the YouTube or search network. And you can update the segment section of the audiences directly within Audience Manager. And we already have that done for this brand. So this is something that you should absolutely be doing if you want to optimize the Google Ads algorithm very, very quickly for the right kinds of customers which you wanted to go after. And you can add in multiple audience segments. You don't have to just add in one single audience segment. But if we're now going over to the new customer high value section, this is the customer acquisition setting section with high value optimization, and it's only supported in Performance Max campaign. So essentially what this means is if there's certain higher value for your customers, if there's certain customers which purchase above your normal average order values, this is the perfect setting and perfect section to highlight that. And you can also add in your current high value customers, which are much more higher value. Maybe they're repeat customers, maybe they interact with your business several times a month, several times a year, or just in general, these people are known to spend over a certain average order value. For instance, if your average order value is $50, then a high value customer could be somebody who spends over $100 on your store, or maybe $200. That's entirely up to you. As long as you can add over 1,000 active members, that's ideally what you want to be looking at. But both of these should have some sort of setting within it, and the number actually is based around what's suggested by Google. You can also play around with this number, give it a certain number that you would like it to prefer over the other. But essentially that's more of something that's customized based on your current needs, based on your current settings, and based on your current results. But second, setting for customer retention. This is where you have the ability to now add in incremental conversion value for lapsed customers. And you might be thinking, Shri, what's the point of adding more conversion value to somebody who's lapsed? What's the big deal about it? Well, the thing is, if you are able to add in a higher conversion value for these 2 specific audience segments, what happens is now if Google's algorithm is out in the auction, it's trying to win certain individuals within the auction to go after your product, and then it goes into the settings section to see that you are bidding normally for one specific audience type, but then there's somebody in there who was a lapsed customer for your brand previously, and Google sees that you actually want to attribute higher conversion value to that customer. Google will prefer that person over the other normal person. And this can be ideal because over time, this helps your account as a whole build up a lot of very high quality data very, very quickly, which ultimately helps you in the return on ad spend for all of your cold traffic campaigns as a result, which is why it's crucial you choose the right values here. But again, it gives you the same setting here where you can add in a customer list of up to 1,000 people who have already lapsed. This is perfect for a lot of brands because a lot of brands have customers where they come in, purchase once, and then never purchase from them again. You can literally just upload that list of individuals into this section to make it so Google goes after these individuals separately. And same thing for the high values. Somebody who's purchased a very big order on your store a couple of months ago, a couple of years ago, but they never came back. You want to add their data in so Google can find that person or similar people like those. But a very new setting within Google Ads, and one of the most important ones you could be implementing to literally improve your ROAS in the next upcoming days. But that's not all. Now we move on to the second major setting within Google Ads, which should be done across your brand regardless of the niche or industry you're in, and this is the content suitability settings section. So if we're going over to this Google Ads dashboard right here, just type in the word content, we can see that it's under this first section, which is pages, tools, and content suitability. So if we're going over here, scroll all the way down, the content suitability section is this one at the very end where it talks about excluded placements. Now, this is super crucial because this lets you choose exactly where your ad should be showing up and exactly where it should not be showing up. Ideally, you want to be setting up this section to go after certain mobile apps and mobile app categories. So for instance, things like books, business, catalogs, education, all these things, and basically I like to choose everything on this list. It should be excluded simply because somebody who's on their phone on a health and fitness app, maybe they're on a lifestyle app, maybe they're in the gym, or maybe they're reading through something, they're reading a travel blog or on a travel app, whatever it may be, they're not going to stop using that phone app just to go on your website to purchase your product. And if they do, it's going to be a very, very small minority, which means you can look at it as a more of a whole and just exclude these because this spends a lot of unnecessary budget on random placements. This ends up making your impression share get diverted from Google owned and operated to now a bunch of random apps like Candy Crush and other phone apps, which are just not going to lead to any types of sustainable purchases. And this is one of the first things which we're working with when we handle brands under my Google Ads agency, Your Marketing, which, by the way, if you run a brand doing $50,000 or more per month in revenue, you need some extra help scaling your brands to the very next level with Google Ads, go onto my website at yourmarketing.com and schedule a completely free call with me, and let's see how we can potentially work together and make that happen. But this now brings us to the third most important way that you can implement right now to increase your return on ad spend fast with Google Ads, and this is through negative keywords within Performance Max campaign. So if we go on inside this Performance Max campaign right here and go ahead and go into the audience, keywords, and content section, go to keywords, we can see that now we actually have the ability to add in a multitude of different negative keywords, and it should be between 1,000 to 3,000 maximum keywords. If you want to add more, you will have to contact the Google Ads rep to make that happen. But this is literally now Google giving you back a lot of the control which it stole away from you when it introduced Performance Max campaigns. And I highly think you should go in and add in 3 different types of negative keywords within each of your Performance Max campaigns. Number 1 are the branded keywords. Of course, most brands don't want to be going after branded keywords within Performance Max campaigns because the whole reason why you want to start a PMax is because you want to go after cold traffic. So ideally, all types of branded keywords should be excluded within Performance Max. That's one of the main things we do with the brands we work with. Second is education-based keywords. Let's assume you're trying to sell the product 3D printer. Now, it's important to be ranked for keywords like buy 3D printer, black 3D printer, white 3D printer, or 3D printer for sale. However, it's not so important, at least on your main landing page, to rank for how to use 3D printer or what is the best 3D printer, because these keywords, although they might have a spot within your entire funnel, they're not the highest buying intent keywords, and your major campaign sites should be focused on high buying intent keywords rather than just going after a bunch of random keywords, because what that will do is it will skew a lot of that data that's coming in towards education-based audience, and that audience is not ready to buy right now from your brand. And you want a lot of the people who are ready to buy right now coming in through your funnels and getting fed to the Google Ads algorithm so it can find you more people like those. Now, again, don't get me wrong, there's separate strategies to go after these education-based keywords and whatnot, but ideally up front, you want to avoid them in PMax campaigns that are designed for buying intent. Third, you want to get rid of any keywords which you know historically are losing keywords, and the best way to do this is go to the insight section section. And from here, just take a look at what keywords are spending a bunch of the money. They're not really profitable. They're not really where you want them to be. You want to add them to the negative keywords list, because ultimately what that will do is that will allow Google now and that Premix campaign to focus on only the highest quality keywords, which will ultimately help you scale your brand to the very next level. But again, if you run a brand doing $50,000 or more per month in revenue, you need some extra help scaling to the next level with Google Ads, go onto my website at yourmarketing.com and schedule a completely free call with me, and let's see how we can work together and make that happen.